Hello and welcome to today's webinar by the AM Academy. My name is Sven, and today I want to talk about a fiber printer, specifically the E2CF by Raise3D. This is a printer based on the Raise3D E2 that is specifically designed for printing fiber-reinforced filaments, such as PA12 with carbon fibers in it, or maybe polypropylene with glass fibers, whatever you need. This printer is specifically designed to print these filaments with fibers because it has a couple of tweaks to the printer itself that make it different from the regular E2 that Raise already sold for a number of years. For example, the nozzle has been changed for one that is more durable. The tungsten carbide nozzle is supposed to last much longer when printing with fiber-filled filaments. A standard brass nozzle would wear out very, very quickly when using these fibers, as they are very abrasive. Additionally, inside the printhead, instead of the standard one-gear direct drive that Raise used on the E2, these printheads now feature a dual-gear direct drive, so two gear wheels that pull the filament with a custom tooth pattern to really make sure that the filament stays there. These gear wheels are also made from hardened materials so that they last longer under the abrasive nature of these fiber filaments. In addition, the printer now no longer stores the filament on the sides and instead comes with these little dry boxes. We'll just open one of them, where you can store the filament. And the way that it's hinged on these turning, brackets allows it to move very easily and unspool out of this box. And these little compartments at the bottom, they're there for the silicates to maintain a nice and dry environment inside this box for as long as possible. Why? Because many of these composite materials, of these composite filaments, are very hygroscopic, meaning they absorb a lot of moisture from the air. And a wet filament that absorbed a lot of moisture from the air is bad, because this can lead to worse print quality, print failures, and worse mechanical properties of the finished part. And that's why you get these little dry boxes, and then you can connect them with a short bone tube directly to the printer, so the filament on its way from the box to the printhead never touches the open air, never has a chance to absorb more moisture. So that's basically the core changes to this printer as they were made: a different printhead, a different nozzle, and a better material storage to provide a better printing experience on the printer itself. The rest of the features of the E2 are still mainly there. You've still got the flexible built plate that you can very easily get the parts off of. The automated mesh leveling is still there. It's still an IDEX printer, so you can use both printheads in mirror or duplication mode. Printing the same part twice, if you're in a production environment, can save a lot of time. It still has automated power loss recovery, meaning if the power goes out, you can continue printing from where it stopped. It has filament run-out sensors that recognize when there's no more filament coming. It has door and lid sensors that notice when the door or top lid is opened and can pause the print. You can disable these if you want, but for some companies where safety is an issue, this can be really important. There's of course also a HEPA filter in it, and so on and so forth. All of these features still exist in the E2CF. So it's similar, but improved on as a printer in order to print the fiber-reinforced filaments. However, because this is more of an industrial printer, Raise3D decided to lock the system, meaning that within the own Idea Maker slicing software, you had very few options available to you in order to tweak the profiles that it was printing with. So you were locked into the Raise3D material choices. Their PA12CF and their dedicated support material, they work really well, and every single time I'm surprised how easily the support material can be removed from the finished part. But I still didn't like that I was so limited in filament options. And that's apparently what Raise3D agreed on as well. Because through their Open Filament Program 2.0, that's what they call it, they have now added 32 more filaments from partner manufacturers. These right here are only a small selection that I have here, but there's a lot more, as you can see on the list. I'll also link the list down below in the video description afterwards. So you've got everything from Huntman over extruder, pulley maker, treat filaments, ESUN, BASF Ford, and so on and so forth. There's now 32 other filaments that you can use with the Idea Maker Slicer. You just open up the software and then you can download the profile for these other filaments from the Open Filament Program website. What is this Open Filament Program? It's something Raise3D have had for quite a while, actually, and they used to do this already in what they called the Open Filament Program 1.0, where they would certify and develop printing profiles for certain filaments from manufacturers that they worked with together. So for example, for the E2 or the Pro 2 or the Pro 3, you could download printing profiles from their website for a variety of printing materials. And there, the compatibility and the printability and the usability were the big three key points. Now in this Open Filament Program 2.0, they've added 3 performance indicators, specifically the material itself and its mechanical performance, the material, well, handling and printing, and then the mechanical performance of the printed parts. And this is supposed to make this whole certification process be more reliable for industrial customers that actually want to manufacture a little more serious parts, which is what we're doing if we're looking at composite filaments anyway. So that's this Open Filament Program 2.0. It is essentially a certification by Raise3D that this filament can be used with their printers and will yield good results. And there is a preset profile for that filament that you can start with and that you can then tweak to suit your own needs. So while I still kind of dislike this semi-closed system, as I would call it now, at least you have a lot more selection, a lot wider selection of filaments that you can use with the printer. And I understand if some people say this still isn't enough, but come on, be honest with yourself. How often in a production environment do you actually introduce a completely new filament that is totally unknown? And how often of those times would you not be able to replace it with one of the more well-known filaments from a well-known manufacturer that has a preset profile for this printer? So I see where they're coming from. They're saying this is not the hobbyist's printer that wants to tinker. This is supposed to be a tool, and for that tool, there's certain filaments that are available. And now with over 32 available filaments, plus Raise's own, I say they've reached that goal. At least for me, that's good enough. Let me know your opinion. Leave a comment down below the video after we're done here. If you do have any more questions or comments, please leave those down below as well. I always welcome hearing your feedback. And other than that, I don't have much more to say, so if there are no more questions, thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I hope to see you again next time.